This is an illustration again on incidence of tax. Following are the particulars provided by Mrs. Dinah relevant to the previous year 2018-19. Compute her gross total income based on different residential status. Now, different residential status here means compute her gross total income in three cases. That is, if she's a resident, if she's a not ordinary resident, and if she's a non-resident. The first point under the illustration, dividend from Suzuki Inclusive Japan, entire amount received in New York, rupees 90,000. Profit on sale of building in Bangalore, 3/4 of the amount received in New York, rupees 90,000. Interest on deposits with an Indian company, rupees 5,000. Cash gift received in India from a relative in USA, rupees 40,000. Income earned from a business in London. The business is controlled from Delhi, rupees 15,000 is received in India, and the total amount being 65,000. Now let's look at the solution. Whenever you're working out problems on incidence of tax, this is the format which you all have to follow. The first, the SSE's name. Here in this case, it's Mrs. Dinah. That has to be written. Then the previous year. For us, the previous year and this year is 2018-19. And the assessment here is 2019-20. Then the types of income should be written over here. And here I've written resident, not ordinary resident, non-resident. Since in this case, in the illustration, they've asked you to compute the incidence of tax for Mrs. Dinah in all the three residential statuses. So for looking again in the first point, dividend from Suzuki Inclusive Japan, entire amount received in New York. It is given Suzuki Inclusive Japan, which means it is income which is earned or deemed to be earned outside India. Entire amount received in New York, which means the amount is also received outside India. So it is income which is earned outside India and also received outside India. Now for this, if you again look into the chart for incidence of tax, income earned or deemed to be earned and received both outside India, it is taxable for the first case and not taxable for the other two cases. So here the total amount is 90,000. So since it is taxable for the first case, we will write 90,000 over here and not taxable for the other two cases. Now moving on to the second point. Profit on sale of building in Bangalore. Means the building is situated in Bangalore, so it is income which is earned or deemed to be earned in India. 3/4 of the amount is received in New York, 90,000, which means 3/4 of this amount, okay, out of the total amount, 3/4 of the amount has been received in New York. So now if you see, when you're calculating this, let's take that the total amount is 90,000. Out of this 90,000, they are telling 1/4 is, since the building is in Bangalore, you're also receiving the amount in Bangalore. So here you're receiving in India. So, and 3/4 is received outside India. So out of 90,000, 1/4 of the amount will be 22,500 and 3/4 of the amount will be 67,500. So 22,500 is earned and received in India, and 67,500 is earned in India but received outside India. Now there are two conditions in one illustration itself, okay? So for this, now let's look into the chart. Earned and received in India. So income which is earned and received in India, the third point. It is taxable for all the three cases. So this 22,500 is taxable for all the three cases. So for a resident, 22,500, not ordinary resident, 22,500, and non-resident, 22,500. Now coming to the 67,500. Earned in India but received outside India. So for this, earned in India but received outside India. See the first point, earned in India but received outside India. It is taxable for all the three cases again. So the 67,500 is taxable for all the three cases. Okay, so if I add this, I will get 90,000 for all the three cases, which means 90,000 is taxable for all the three cases. So here I will write it as 90,000, here again 90,000, and here again 90,000. Now moving on to the next point. Profit on sale of building in Bangalore. The next point. Interest on deposits with an Indian company, rupees 5,000. Now see, if it is given, over here interest on deposits, okay? So this is taxable. If it is given dividends from an Indian company, it is exempt from tax. Whereas here it is given interest on deposits with an Indian company. So we assume the income is earned in India and also received in India. So when you're earning income in India and receiving the income in India, look into the third point, income earned and received in India or deemed to be earned and received in India. It is taxable for all the three cases. So the amount of 5,000 has to be written for all the three cases. Now moving on to the next point. Cash gifts received in India from a relative in USA, rupees 40,000. Now gifts, okay. Now if you see the condition of gifts which I had given, if the gift is received from a friend and if it is less than 50,000, it is not taxable for all the three cases. If it is from a friend exceeding 50,000, it is taxable in all the three cases. Whereas in this case, it is given that the gift is received from a relative. Now, if gift is received by an individual from a relative, it is totally tax-free. Okay, so it is not taxable at all. So it will be tax-free, tax-free, tax-free. The last point, income earned from a business in London. So the business is in London, so it is deemed income earned, which is or deemed to be earned outside India. The business is controlled from Delhi, okay, and rupees 15,000 is received in India, and out of the total 65,000. Okay, so now if you look into the conditions, it is income earned and received outside India, but the business is controlled from in India. See, income earned and received outside India from a business controlled or profession set up in India. It is taxable for the first two cases and not taxable for the third one. So it is taxable for the first two cases. So the entire amount of 65,000 will be written for the first two cases. Now as per the chart, it is not taxable for a non-resident, but it is given over here 15,000 is received in India. Means 15,000 is earned outside India from that business in London, but it is also received in India. So it is 15,000 is income earned outside India but received in India. Now if you see income earned outside India, okay, if you see over here, income earned outside India but received in India, the second condition, it is taxable for the third case also. So in that case, 15,000 has to be written for a non-resident also. Okay, whenever you have illustrations like this given, okay, where the word received is given, you can assume that you should write wherever you're writing it as not taxable, there the received amount has to be written. Like if you say income earned from a business in London, but the business is controlled from Delhi, in this it was taxable for the first two cases and not taxable for the third one. But then in the illustration they have said 15,000 is received in India. So which means that 15,000 was earned outside India and it was received in India. In that case, wherever you're writing it is not taxable, 15,000 will become taxable. And why it will become taxable is because of the third condition. Earned outside India but received in India. So it is taxable for the third one. So this 15,000 is taxable over here. After you do this, there are no further points. So total the different columns. The total for the first column will be 2,50,000. The total for the second column would be 1,60,000 and the total for the third column would be 1,10,000. So the gross total income for a resident is 2,50,000. For a not ordinary resident, the gross total income is 1,60,000, and for a non-residential status, the total gross total income is 1,10,000.